Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, and I'm live tonight. Just let me get sorted here. I've been waiting all day to do this, and then when I actually come to start, I'm all over the place. Where am I? There I am. Hey, hello guys. I'm live. Anyway, we've got 3 reviews to get through tonight. I was going to do them separately as separate videos, and I thought, what the hell? Let's just do a live show, live stream, and I'll do 3 reviews. So I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, the finale, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 8. I can't remember what it's called, but it made me cry at the end. But we'll get to that. And what's the other? The Orville New Horizons, episode 4. I can't remember what that's called either, because I'm useless. Right, so let's crack on then. So first up, you know what? We'll do the worst thing first. We'll do the bad. We'll do the bad first. So we'll get that done with. So I shall fire up my Star Wars border. Badum. There we are. And we'll get Obi-Wan on screen. Spladosh. There it is. And it starts off, obviously, with the recap. I do believe. Yeah. Where am I? Where have I disappeared to? Get me back on. Get my ugly mug on. There I am. Just move me up a bit. How long have I been doing this? You'd think. Oh, see, I'm still at the wrong place. Where have I put it now? Oh, I'm on top. I'm on top of everything. Right. There we go. Right, I'm here now. You know what I'll do? I'll lock that in place. Did it. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got a thing here. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Ooh, yes, that works. Look, that's the like thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it says on the little thing there. Eee. And share the videos and do all that stuff. You know what I'm on. Right, so Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 6. They didn't have episode titles this, but never mind, because it was rubbish anyway. It wasn't very good. Although I did enjoy watching it, but I didn't like it, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? I thought it wasn't a very well-told story, but I kind of still enjoyed watching it, but probably for the wrong reasons. Right, so recap, right. This is Darth Vader. This is showing what happened. This is the shrill Reaver. They're opening fire on the rebels. Blah, blah, blah. Whispering through a big door. Of course, we found out that Reaver, was hunting Darth Vader. And Darth Vader stabbed her through the chest with her own lightsaber. Or the stomach, the torso. Stabbed her through the torso with her own lightsaber and left her to die. But obviously, lightsaber wounds through the abdomen are not lethal these days in Star Wars. I mean, they used to be, didn't they? That's what happened with Qui-Gon. Sorry, I've got my hair down today because I thought it might be cooler, but I'm still sweating. I've got the ceiling fan on, so if there's any movement, it's not a ghost, it's the ceiling fan wafting me back screen thing. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so as I said, Qui-Gon died from a lightsaber strike to the abdomen, but nobody else does. I mean, Reaver, it happened to her twice, didn't it? And she's fine. And there you just see you just make him out there. That's the Grand Inquisitor. He's back. Reaver thrust a lightsaber through his abdomen, and he's fine as well. Right. So what happens? Right, we start off. There we go. Lucasfilm, Star Wars. There we go. Start off. We're on Tatooine. This nasty man pushes in front of this line. I don't know what it is. Is it for water or something? I don't know what it's for. Anyway, he's obviously not a nice person. But Reaver appears and beats him up or whatever, makes him go away. And so she pushes into the front And she asks the fella, she's looking for a farmer named Owen, or whatever. How did she get to Tatooine? I don't know. How much time's passed? It can't be very long because we cut back to the rebels that are fleeing the Star Destroyer. So obviously it's not very much time's passed. Minutes. So she's got to Tatooine within minutes in some ship that we don't know about. I'm shaking my head. Oh, you can see me. I was going to say you can't see me shaking my head, but yes, you can. Because it's stupid. There we go. There's a Star Destroyer shooting at the fleeing rebel. They're not rebels, are they? It's called The Path, but it's like Proto-Rebel Alliance, isn't it? And the effects are very good, as you would expect. And here they are. They're all just sitting about doing nothing, while the crew are trying to get the hyperdrive working. Obi-Wan's scared. He talks to Leia. Leia's not scared. Wait a minute. So he's looking for Leia there. He finds there she is. And he finds it, and she's been comforting all the other people because she's not scared, because she's a little 10-year-old, stunning and brave. Leia, not Leia, Leia, whatever. And she's been using Lola, the droid that betrayed them in the last episode, but now it's all better now. And she says Lola makes them feel better. And so Obi-Wan says, maybe I could borrow her too. Because he's obviously saying he's scared as well. So he hasn't taken Yoda's advice to heart. Remember, being scared, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. That's the Jedi way, isn't it? No, one of the Jedi things. They don't get scared. I mean, they might get scared, but they don't show it. They don't tell people that they're scared. Anyway, whatever. So, he decides... we're cutting backwards and forwards. Right, so what's happened here? Owen and Luke, that's Luke, is that? Have gone into this store with this alien fella. I don't know who he is. Don't even know what race he is. Don't know. But he obviously knows them. Anyway, this fella that Reva spoke to comes in and says to Owen, I've got something to tell you. Cut back to the Rebel cruiser, whatever the hell it is. Obi-Wan says he's going to not give himself up, but he's going to, cause a diversion, basically. He's going to go away from them. He's going to leave them. Apparently there's another ship. Are these ships, are they like bloody Russian dolls? Because you had a big ship that Vader caught with the Force and brought down and ripped open. Then you had a slightly smaller ship behind that took off, that nobody'd seen. And now, from this one, we get an even smaller ship that comes out with Obi-Wan aboard, as we will see in a moment. By the way, he talks to Eternals man, and he says, get Leia to Alderaan. We'll get to, my feelings about this later on, about how Obi-Wan has failed in every conceivable way in this series. That's just one of the things. Right, back on Tatooine. Owen goes back to the Lars homestead. There's Beru. And he tells her that, they've got to pack up and leave because something bad's coming. And Beru says, no, we're not having any of that. This is our home. We're going to defend it. But the Inquisitors coming, isn't it? That they've seen stringing people up in town and stuff. But no, she's staying there because she's stunning and brave. So she tells Owen, we're not going. He goes, okay. Back on the cruiser, Leia's talking to Eternals man. I can't actually remember what she says. And frankly, I don't care. Ben he's Ben, innit? Ben Kenobi gives her a little keepsake. I think that's Tala's holster that she wore. I think it is anyway. It might not be, I don't know, but I'm just guessing that must be Tala's. Remember, she died, she sacrificed herself in the last episode, so she must have taken that off at some point. I'm presuming it's hers. I don't know. It might not be. It might say it's hers. I don't know, but whatever. So he gives Leia a holster, but obviously there's not a gun in it. There's not a blaster in it. And later on, she uses it to keep Lola in. So that's all he's got to give her, a holster. Cheers. That reminded me of that bit on Wayne's World where his ex-girlfriend gives him a gun rack. He says, I don't even have a gun. Never mind the many that it would need to, necessitate a whole rack. Anyway, so he's telling her he's leaving. So that's that. She looks a bit fed up that he's going, but, he's got to go. As it started raining outside, if you hear any noises, I've got the window open because it's super warm here in Yorkshire today. That's why I've got the ceiling fan going. I've got the windows open. The wind's picked up a little bit outside. It's blowing me blinds about. Come on, get on with it. I've noticed as well in this series, Ewan McGregor's, all his expressions are like, rabbit caught in the headlights expressions. He's all wide-eyed all the time. It's weird. It's weird! Come on, get on with it. He's leaving. Look, he's going. And Ice T or Ice Cube's son, or whoever the hell he is, says something. Right, meanwhile, back on the Star Destroyer. That's Darth Vader, obviously. That's the Grand Inquisitor with his silly, stupid-shaped head. And we see... I probably won't miss it. I'll miss it. See, I bet it's come out already. There we go. So they're chasing this... This thing. Cruiser. It looks like a mini version of the Tantive 4 a little bit, doesn't it? Anyway, there we go. There, hatch opens at the bottom, and out slips a little spaceship. There it goes. Look, I won't say it's massive. How much space is that taking up inside there? Is there room for the people in there? Anyway, so that comes out and sods off. So they're going different directions, and Vader decides they're going to follow Kenobi, because he knows Kenobi's in the other one, because he can sense his presence. Well, there you go. They can see that. That's the cruiser going that way. Kenobi's going the other way. They decide to follow Kenobi. You're on a Star Destroyer, mate. You got other ships, available to you. You could send some TIE fighters after that. After the rebels. We'll call them rebels. Or he's got a shuttle. He could say, continue following the rebels. I will deal with Kenobi myself. And take his shuttle and follow Kenobi. He could do that. But he doesn't. He takes the whole Star Destroyer. So that's what happens. Oh, look, that's a classic shot, isn't it? Very Empire Strikes Back. Oh, pew, 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 pew. And I believe that's where I got my thumbnail from. Well, the background for my thumbnail. There it goes, look. Anyway, so they're following that. They're not very good shots, are they, on the Star Destroyer? There must be them off Spaceballs that, cross-eyed men. He's my cousin, sir. I can't cross my eyes, so I can't do it. Right, so we had a quick go back to Tatooine then, didn't we? There's Luke. Looks nothing like Mark Hamill. Could they find a kid that, looked a little bit like Mark Hamill, but no, they found just a kid. In that is, they both have heads, as Peter Kay might say. Anyway, so they're getting ready to, defend the homestead, and I think they're saying to Luke, you know what to do when the time comes, which is run away, basically. Right, so there we go. So Obi-Wan's heading to this unnamed planet. I don't know where it is. I don't know if he's gone into hyperspace at some point. I don't think he has. So anyway, heads for this planet or moon or whatever it is. I don't know, but he's going there. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping. Have a little drink of my cola. to make me burp even more. Right, where were we? Right, so he comes into land on this this rocky planet. At first I thought, is this I forgot what they call it? Edu. Is it Edu? What it Edu? That don't sound right. I think it was Edu, wasn't it? Off Rogue One, where there were that Imperial base, weren't they? Where the scientists. Where Jyn Erso's dad was. Anyway, I thought it was that, but I don't think it is. Anyway, so he lands there, and Vader takes his shuttle down. He just follow him in his shuttle, but he takes his shuttle down. Oh, he finds that Leia had secreted Lola in Obi-Wan's pocket, but he don't do anything with it. She's just there because, so later on, he has to take Lola back to Leia. Remember, Leia's going back to Alderaan now. But his job to take her back to Alderaan. He's palmed that responsibility off onto somebody else. Anyway, so there we go. So this is wasting a bit of time. So Vader's taking his shuttle down. I've missed that bit, obviously, but never mind. Oh, let's see. Backwards and forwards, look. So it's night time. Apparently, Beru somehow knew that Reva would come at night. I don't know why she knew that. Maybe she's got some insider knowledge. I don't know. Oh, there's Vader using his shuttle to follow Obi-Wan. Why didn't he just take his shuttle anyway? But he didn't. He just takes it down to the planet, and it comes in and lands. To be in a good opportunity for some Vader music, but no. We do get it at the end. The Imperial March, but not until the end. So he comes down his ramp, all... there we go. There. Oh, cracks, I've gone too far now, look. Anyway, they encounter each other, and meanwhile, before he left, Obi-Wan had tried contacting Qui-Gon again. He got, "Master, I must face Vader, blah, blah, blah." And he says, it will end this tonight. One of us must die. But obviously, as we know, neither of them die. So anyway, so they start fighting. Boom, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. The fans will love this, they think it's great. And at first, Vader, like the previous encounter they had, Vader's toying with him a little bit. But as we see, that soon changes. Anyway, so Reva arrives. Here she is. Ignites a lightsaber, obviously, because you see a red glow. Well, I presume she's ignited a lightsaber. I'm guessing Luke's not watching this from wherever he's hidden. But remember, he doesn't know what a lightsaber is yet, does he? Because the first time he sees a lightsaber is in Ben's hovel in A New Hope. Anyway, so back to Vader and Obi-Wan. They're fighting away. There we go. And Obi-Wan uses the Force to throw a rock at Vader or try and make something land on Vader, but Vader, blocks it or whatever. They carry on fighting, look. I think Vader's Force pushed Ben away. There we go. I think now he makes. There we go. He's burying him now in rocks. Look, whoa, bury. Oh dear, oh crikey. So that's Ben done for, isn't it? So Vader, it says, goodbye, Master. And he should have really done that, shouldn't he? As he turned, he should have gone, goodbye, Master. But he didn't. Because he's not ironic, is Vader. And maybe he did, but we just weren't looking. Right, back on Tatooine. Owen is going to stand up to Reva. Because Reva's still evil. Even though we had this bait and switch that she's, she wants to kill Vader, but now she just wants to kill Vader's son. How does she know Luke's Vader's son? I don't know. Because Bail, the stupid idiot Bail Organa, didn't tell her that Luke was Vader's son. He just mentioned the children and Luke and Owen and Tatooine. That's all he mentioned, really. But she's put two and two together, obviously. Because she's stunning and brave and clever. So she knocks Owen off this. And apparently he's got a limp. I never even noticed. Apparently in the New Hope, Owen Lars has got a limp. And I saw another review where somebody mentioned it. Said, this is how Owen gets his limp. And I was like, I didn't even know he had a limp. But I watched it back. And yes, he has a slight limp. It's not much of one. I meant to wonder I didn't really notice it. But anyway, so she knocks him off there. And then she goes after Luke. By the way, Beru has been shooting at her from, like a sniper point. Beru must be some... don't know what, she must be a sniper. Maybe she used to bullseye womp rats or something, or sand people, or Jawas. Right, back on the other planet. Ben escapes from under there. He's used the Force to stop himself getting crushed, and he pushes all the rocks off. Oh no, before that, though, there he is. He's stuck underneath with the rocks. A little bit like we saw in... Now then, where did I see it? Did I see it in the is it Genndy Tartakovsky's The Clone Wars? Is it The Clone Wars or Clone Wars? The one, the traditional animated one that he did. They showed something, didn't they? I think it had been one of his, where all these rocks landed on these Jedi and they used the Force to stop the rocks, from crushing them. So they probably nicked that off there. I think it were in that one. I don't think it were in regular Clone Wars, the CG version. But I could be wrong. Anyway, so he has these little thoughts. Here we go. I'll press play, see if we... he has these little thoughts while he's being crushed. There we go. So we saw Leia, and then we see Luke, and we see Leia again, and then we see Leia again, and then we see Ben, and then he has some more little thoughts. They're giving him strength, you see. The thoughts of these kids, it's mostly Leia. Come on, get on with it. There we go again. There's Leia falling. And there's Luke pretending he's a pod racer. And there's Leia's hand. Leia. Is that it? Pressing keys. You can hear tapping because I'm pressing keys, trying not to miss bits. No, see. So mostly Leia. Leia's giving him strength because she's stunning and brave. Because really, this isn't about Luke. It's not really about Obi-Wan, is it? This series is really about Leia and Reva. It shouldn't have been called Obi-Wan Kenobi, really. But anyway, never mind. So it does that. It gives him the strength, because, as was predicted by people, not by me, but by people, Leia would be the one that shows him, the error of his ways or whatever. And made him a great Jedi again. Make, what is it? Not MAGA, but make Obi-Wan great again. MOGA. She did that. But anyway, so he gets out from under the rocks and goes back after, there we go, goes back after Vader, who must have just been having a leisurely stroll back to his shuttle. But obviously, it comes charging at him. Maybe he was doing like a silent scream, like, ah! Or whatever, I don't know. He didn't. But George had made him do that. Or there'd be like Obi-Wan Special Edition, and he'd have put Obi-Wan going, ah! As he comes at him. So anyway, Obi-Wan now is super powered. He's got, is like level, as been said, he's leveled up. So he's doing some Super Ace fighting. It's not Revenge of the Sith fighting, but it's okay. There we go, a bit behind the back action, so to speak. So anyway, so he turns the tables, and he, there we go. He's force pushing, and he And as we see in a bit, he knackers up Vader's chest plate. And more. Oh, there we go. And now he's doing, thinks he's Rey now. He's lifting rocks with the Force. Going, oh, throwing rocks. You know, they should have put that music on. Oh, throwing rocks at Vader. You know, but Vader's taking it because he's tough, because he's, you know, he's more machine now than man, as they say. So they carry on fighting. Back on Tatooine, Reva's chasing after Luke. You know, Luke's run off into this, these rocks. Why would you do that? I don't know. They've watched Rogue One, and they saw Jyn Erso run into some rocks and hide in a little hidey hole. And thought, well, we'll have Luke run into some rocks, but he ain't got a hidey hole to hide in. But he'll just, you know, go endanger himself where there could be sand people, because they get around. Anyway, never mind. So she's looking for him. Right, that fight carries on. There we go. That's Obi-Wan knackering up Vader's chest plate. And the sparks flying and stuff, and Vader's like, pardon me. They don't burp. They might have done, but I didn't hear him. Did it. By the way, I hope this thing's working. Oh, it is, yeah. Where are we? There we go. There we go. That's you can see. Look, his back of his cloak's been damaged as well. So you know, obviously, so he's on the back foot. Is Vader now? His chest plate's damaged, so he's probably not breathing properly. And here we go. And then Obi-Wan. Force pushing again. And he anyway, the upshot of this is that he gets Vader in the helmet. There we go. The helmet on his head. And come on, show us then. Show us. There it is, look. And underneath we can see we see Hayden Christensen. I presume it is. I presume it's Hayden Christensen, but it could be anybody really. But we're told it's Hayden Christensen in heavy makeup, obviously. Come on, show us! Because if I do that clicking thing, I'll miss it, because I'm useless. Look, cut away, look. Oh, never mind. Here we go. I'm going to show us now, isn't it? Oh, for crying out loud. So Ben's obviously shocked at what Anakin looks like now, you know, but you should really know, because you left him to burn. Oh, there we go. There's Hayden with a bit of makeup on. Yeah, I suppose you can tell it's him, can't you? I suppose you can tell it's him. Anyway, his voice comes out, and it's like a bit like a cross between James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen, because obviously this bit's not working properly. He basically, you know, they have little chit chat, and Obi-Wan says, you know, he's sorry for what he did to him, and Vader, because that's what you know, call him Anakin, but he's Darth Vader now, isn't he? He says, you know, oh, you didn't do this to me. I did it to myself. I killed Anakin Skywalker. You know, just to justify what Obi-Wan tells Luke. You know, in The New Hope, he betrayed and murdered your father, just to justify a certain point of view and all that shite. So there's that, and then he says, "So my friend is truly dead." And then he drops a mountain on him, or whatever, in a minute. Instead of finishing him off, he could have finished him off here, but he doesn't. Does he drop a mountain on him? I can't actually remember now. There we go. Yeah, I think he drops some rocks on him. Do unto others, as they say. Meanwhile, Reva, I think that's what happened. Let's go back again. Like I say, I've watched this once. You know, I wouldn't bloody put myself through it more than once. Oh, for crying out loud. Or has he just left him there? I can't actually bloody remember. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's just left him, hasn't he? He just walked off and left him. Like he did. Oh, is that Reaver? No, that's Reaver, that, isn't it? Oh, crying out loud. There we go. Yeah, I think Obi-Wan just walks off and leaves him, doesn't he? Like he did on Mustafa. Oh, no, that is... no, it didn't Reaver. That is Vader. So, instead of just, finishing him off like he should have done, he just leaves him there. There we go. And Obi-Wan's sodding off. And he gets to Tatooine in like that. Because it's, it's JJ Star Wars, isn't it? JJ's made it that, everywhere is within minutes of everywhere else. Anyway. So Vader's still alive. But we knew that anyway, didn't we? Because, it's a pointless series, isn't it? Yeah, she's still looking for Luke. And there he is, we saw him then. And she makes him fall down. Oh, for crying out loud. She makes him fall down this little ravine. If I can find the flaming bit. Oh, for crying out loud. She makes him fall down this ravine. It either makes him or he just falls. There he goes. There he goes. He's falling down. Ah! Oh. Then Obi-Wan senses it, because remember he's super powered now. He's in another star system somewhere, but he senses Luke falling. So he thinks, I've got to get to Tatooine and save Luke. Do the job that I was supposed to do anyway. So he goes to Tatooine, and he gets there. All right, Reaver stands in front of the unconscious Luke with a lightsaber drawn. And then we're left with a bit of a cliffhanger. But, look on her face. She doesn't look angry or anything, does she? This is, the redeemed Reaver. There we go. Look, she raises her lightsaber. Is she gonna kill? Look, is she gonna kill him? Oh, crikey! She's thinking of all the younglings that Obi-Wan allowed to be killed. Never mind, he was fighting for his life on Utapau at the time, but never mind. So Obi-Wan arrives at Tatooine in super quick time. He lands at the Lars homestead. Don't they have air traffic control on these planets, by the way? Don't they? Obviously not. People just come and go as they please. So, anyway, Beru and Owen are outside going, Luke, where are you? I thought, why wouldn't they know where? They were following a plan. I thought Luke knew what to do. So he ran off to them rocks. So why didn't they know he's run off to them rocks? Why they just stood outside going, Luke! So Ben arrives, and he says, we've got to find Luke. Yeah. Obviously, he'd run off to them rocks over there, but they're not even looking in that direction. Because Reaver appears. They're all looking, look. There you go. She arrives, she's got Luke, and he's okay, she didn't kill him. So they take Luke off her, and Reaver, she's all fed up and redeemed. And Ben consoles her. She was remembering the... there's Luke. Remembering all the younglings. And they all died. And she couldn't help them. And he says she's failed them. And bloody Obi-Wan says, no, you honoured them. But not once. So this is supposed to be her turning to the good side. But not once does she say that she's sorry for what she did, or all the bad things she's done. I mean, I thought she was going to say, "I've done terrible things, and how can I, pay for what I've done or whatever, But no, he just basically I forgive you, and that's it. That's the last we see of Reaver. So she's still alive. There were rumours, weren't there, that she went back to Vader and. Obviously, that won't happen now because we saw in the previous episodes that she turned on Vader and he left her to die. But the rumours were she went back to Vader, said, I've killed Luke. Not kill Luke. I've killed Obi-Wan. But he killed me. But Vader didn't believe her and killed her. But no, that's not happening. So we're either going to have an Obi-Wan Series 2, Season 2, or a Reva spin-off. Or she'll end up in, Mandalorian or something, down the line. I don't know. But there we go. There she's been all redeemed. I don't know, yeah. Bad people can be redeemed, but, they show a bit of, sorrow for what they've done, don't they? Yeah, she looks unhappy, but she's not saying, I'm sorry. Is that my cat? If you hear any meowing, I think that's my cat outside through the open window. You'll have to wait, Princess. But she's not saying she's sorry. Vader were redeemed, wasn't he? But, fair enough. He killed the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Saved the galaxy. So, that were a good thing. She just didn't kill Luke. She basically did Obi-Wan's job for him, didn't she? Anyway, so that's that with her. Go on, sod off, go away. There we go, leave them in the desert. Back on Mustafar, this is Vader, had his helmet fixed, must have spares. Got his spare helmet on. Talking to the Emperor. And there he is. And the Emperor's, saying, he's thinking too much about Obi-Wan. And Vader says, Kenobi means nothing. So I think, right, fair enough. We can get on with what we're supposed to be doing. So, there you go. So, he's not going to think about Obi-Wan anymore. Because that's it until A New Hope. They don't meet again. Or do they? Anyway. Meanwhile, on Alderaan, we see Leia getting herself dressed, putting a little holster on and some little boots. There's a mother. Bria, apparently, or something like that, she's called. Anyway, a ship arrives, and she's saying, who is it? Some more, relatives. But no, as you can see, it's the ship that we know. Obviously, Obi-Wan's kept that. It's Obi-Wan. He arrives on this ship. Obviously, left Luke again. Maybe he's left Reva looking after him now, because Reva's the one that's really looking after Luke. So anyway, so he's gone back there to give Leia, Lola back. So anyway, so that's that. And he says to Bale, he doesn't say, you're an idiot. You blabbed about everything and led the Inquisitors to Luke. No, he don't say that. I would have done. I'd have played bloody hell with him. So that's, basically, it's the Leia show. She's made him super ace, and she give him super force powers that he didn't have before, and he doesn't have again, apparently. But he can make stormtroopers look in different directions, can't he? In the wrong direction. But he can't hurl massive rocks at people, not that we see him do that anyway. So Obi-Wan sods off, back to Tatooine. There he's packing up his cave. He's obviously been to some sort of Tatooine, realtor, estate agent, and he's got this hovel, I presume. And he's moving in there. But he's got to go back to the last homestead, because he's got to let Luke have that, remember that Skyhopper model? Luke's got to get that, hasn't. So anyway, so he arrives at the last homestead on his EOP. And him and Owen are alright at the moment. I thought they were going to have a bit of an argument here, but they don't. They're alright. I thought they were going to hug. Oh, crack. I thought they were going to hug, but I don't think they go that far. So, but he says, the boy's in good hands and stuff. And Owen says, do you want to see him? So he does. So he goes to meet Luke. There's Ben. There he's saying, you want to meet him? Because he'd not met him. And there he is. This is Ben meeting Luke. So we know that Luke, he knows Ben, because he says, because they're obviously familiar with each other. But we're not at the point where Owen is running Ben, off the moisture farm. That wizard's a crazy old man and all that stuff. Because I think in the novelisation, I think it said that Ben Kenobi had tried to see Luke or whatever. He'd visited the moisture farm before several times, and Owen had always, run him off because he didn't want him there. For some reason, I thought we might have seen that. But no, the part on good terms, so that's obviously season 2, isn't it? The fallout in season 2. Anyway, so Ben sods off on his Eope, and then he meets somebody in the desert. Who could it be? My goodness, it's the Force ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. Why can Qui-Gon Jinn appear as a Force ghost all of a sudden? Don't know. I thought it could just but I thought it could just manifest as a voice. Because he was supposed to be communing with Obi-Wan, wasn't he, in the desert, as a Force voice. But no, it can appear as a Force ghost now. Why didn't he appear at the end of Return of the Jedi with all the others? Don't know, maybe he didn't want to. But never mind. So anyway, he says we've got work to do, and Ben buggers off into the canyons or whatever of Tatooine, off to his hovel, no doubt. And then I do believe that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the end. There's no end credits. Not that I know. No, well, there's end credits, but you know what I mean. No end credit scene. Yeah, so that's it. So there you go. That were rubbish. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, so that was it. As an episode of, Star Wars science fictionist stuff, there were cool bits in it. There were lightsaber fights, and there were Star Destroyers shooting at spaceships and all that stuff. But it really wasn't very good, though, was it? I mean, I didn't like it. Didn't like the story. Quite enjoyed, watching it and stuff, but it's not Obi-Wan Kenobi, is it? Yeah, we're in it, but it's not really his show, is it? It's all about Leia, inspiring him to be a better Jedi, even though he's a Jedi Master. Giving him his Force powers back through the power of remembering. But get rid of that. But he failed, didn't he? He failed in every aspect of what he did. I've got a little list here. He didn't get Leia home, did he? That fake Jedi. Just a minute, princess. That fake Jedi, he got Leia home. What's up, princessy? You want to come in, eh? Well, you'll have to wait a minute. Sorry, that's my cat. Hey, that fake Jedi got Leia home, got her back to Alderaan. Obi-Wan didn't. He didn't finish off Vader when he had the chance, despite earlier on saying one of them had to die. That didn't happen. And he failed to protect Luke from Reva. I mean, he went back to Tatooine, but it were all over and done with by then, wasn't it? Before they even got a chance to look for Luke, she carried him out of the desert. So she could have killed him at any point, but she didn't. So he failed to protect Luke. And not only he failed to protect Luke, he failed to protect Luke twice, because he left him again. And he was supposed to be on Tatooine training. Remember, Yoda said, "Training I have for you," to learn to commune with Qui-Gon. But he didn't even learn that, did he? Qui-Gon just appeared when he wanted to and said, "I've always been there." But he never talked to him, did he, in 10 years? It was awful. Enjoyable, but awful. Give a score out of 10 this last episode. I don't know. I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 for the lightsaber fight and the Star Destroyer shooting at another ship. But that's all. For the story, it's like a 1 out of 10. It wasn't very good. Not a very good story at all. So, and the series It was pointless. It was the most pointless TV series ever because we know what happens to everybody. We know they're all fine. So what was the point? The only person that we didn't know what happened to was Reaver. I mean, we thought they'd bugged it up with canon, didn't we? Because the Grand Inquisitor died, even though he appears in Rebels at a later date. But no, they obviously realised and thought, oh, crikey, we better bring him back. And they've made it so lightsabers are like a non-lethal weapon now. The rubbish now are lightsabers. They're good for cutting doors open, but they're not. They're okay for killing stormtroopers. But if you, I think with the previous episode where Ben was fighting stormtroopers with his lightsaber, there's one bit where he actually hits a stormtrooper and his lightsaber bounces off the stormtrooper's arm. But it'd have just cut him in half, wouldn't it? But no, because they don't know what they're doing. So that's that. Right. So we'll leave it there for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank God it's finished. We've got Andor coming soon, which I've fingers crossed that'll be a little bit better. The trailer looks good, but then the trailer for Obi-Wan looked okay, didn't it? So we'll leave it there. So not a very good series. I'm glad it's over. It were only 6 episodes. And they weren't very long episodes either. I mean, that finale were only like 40 minutes. If you take the credits off and the recap. They should have just made a film. That's what they should. I bet somebody edits it into a feature-length, fan edit. I bet they do. And I bet it's better. Right, so we'll leave it there. Right. Where have I put the bloody thing? Where have I put it? Right, we'll get rid of that. Ba-dum. Ooh, I've got rid of that. So, next up, we'll do the Orville next. So, we'll do the Orville next. So, there we go. There we are. We're in we're on the Orville Bridge. And where's the Orville? There it is. Make sure I've got the right one up. There we are, yeah. Right. So, the Orville. This is episode 4, and it's called Gently Falling Rain. It just came to me, the name of the title. Which, it turns out, is not Krill, but it's somebody in this episode, their name, I think it's Anaya, and in Krill, that means Gently Falling Rain, which is quite pretty, I suppose. Anyway, right, so we start off. This is, by the way, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot better than last week's. I wasn't a big fan of last week's episode, to be honest. It was okay, but a lot of people loved it and said it was best thing ever. But I wasn't really a fan. But it was okay. But this one was a lot better. Right, we're on Krill, the Krill homeworld, and this is a Krill political person. I've forgotten the name. You know what we'll do? We'll get this up. And I shall type in Orville Gently. I forgot to type. There we go. Gently Falling Rain. And I'll get the cast list. That's what I'll do. And then I can tell you the names of the characters. I should do all this beforehand, shouldn't I? Right. There we go. Teleia. She's called Teleia, played by Michaela McManus. By the way, this episode was in memory of Lisa Baines, who was an actress, and she appeared in this episode as Spiria Balask, who I believe was a union representative that we saw in this episode. But anyway, she's called Teleia, that we can see on screen there. Where are we? There we go. And she's like an opposition politician to the current Supreme Chancellor of Krill, who is on Earth, about to do some talks. They're going to ratify the treaty between the Union and the Krill Empire, or whatever it's called. But she's against that. She thinks this treaty is going to weaken Krill and they shouldn't sign treaties with anybody because they're all super religious, aren't they? But anyway, quite a lot of masks in this episode. Good makeup effects, with large crowds of people. So I bet that took some doing. It cost a bit of money. Anyway, she's got this political following. There's an election coming up, and obviously she's got she's a populist. She's a bit like Trump. This is saying she's a bit like Trump. That's what the impression I got. Oh, this episode also kind of goes into it skirts around the issue of abortion. So, but there you go. Anyway, I think we're into the credits, are we? I don't know. Yeah, we are. Right, we're in credits now. Right, we're on Earth. That's the Krill Supreme Chancellor, who was played by... I'm trying to find out. It doesn't show who played him. Not on IMDb anyway. We see John Fleck. Is it Bruce Boxleitner? Let's have a look. It could be, actually. It could be. That could be Bruce Boxleitner, but I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't say on IMDb. Does it say in... there we go. In the Orville wiki. Let's have a look at this one. Guest cast. No, it doesn't say that either. They're keeping it secret, aren't they? They are. Does it say further down? No. Right, never mind. Gone too far. With me mad clicking. Right, where were we? Anyway, they're at a musical, and it's Annie. See if I can... they've got a little alien girl playing Little Orphan Annie, and she looks human. Oh, for God's sake, if I can get it right. There we go. But she's got little alien ears. Anyway, they're all singing, and there's a fella there that looks like... I forgot his name. A crewman on the Orville, but it's not him. So they're singing Tomorrow, and the Krill don't really know what to make of it. All the others are laughing and cheering. There we go. And the Krill don't know, what to make of it. So they clap awkwardly. They see the others clapping. That quite amusing. I think that's John Fleck, who's been in Star Trek a bit. Anyway, they're at a dinner now. They're having dinner, and the Chancellor. There's Kelly, who was Admiral somebody or other. Anyway, the Chancellor seems keen on signing this treaty. I don't know why, to be honest, but all the other Krill that we've seen, I seem a bit reluctant. They seem, that this treaty is a necessary evil because of the Kalon threat. But this Supreme Chancellor, it's a bit like Gorkon. He seems to think this is something they can build on. Anyway. Meanwhile, on the Orville, they're in a saloon on the simulator. It's the holodeck, isn't it? And Bortas has a drink of beer and gets himself a moustache. And Gordon, is it Gordon? Yeah. Says, that reminds me of when you had a moustache, because remember last season he grew a moustache, didn't he? So that's that. Yeah, by the way, Tala Kiali, she's now Lieutenant Commander Tala Kiali. And I did actually notice in the credits it says Lieutenant Commander Tala Kiali. And I thought, ooh, has she got a promotion? And then I was thinking, or has she always been Lieutenant Commander? But no, she hasn't. So she's getting congratulated here by John Lamar, the engineer. See, I remembered his name. So I think something's going to happen between these two, because they seem to be angling for a bit of romance. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, Ed and Kelly arrive, Oh no, are they there already? Oh no. Isaac arrives. Oh, I've missed it. And says, if I can find the bloody thing. Show us it then. No, because I'm useless at finding the bloody things I want to find. Here we go. There he is. Isaac arrives. And he says, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. But he says it in Isaac way. I can't remember what, I calculate this town is not spacious enough, whatever. And it's funny. He's got a moustache glued onto him. And Charlie Burke, remember Ensign Charlie Burke, she doesn't seem impressed. Remember, she doesn't like him. Anyway, Admiral Halsey calls them away, and so they go to Ed's office. They're still in the Western gear. And he's telling them that they've to go back to Earth and pick up, well, not pick up, but escort the Supreme Chancellor back to the Krill home world. It's got a name, but I can't remember what it is. Because they're going to sign the treaty there on the Krill home world. And, the Orville's got the job, the honour of doing that. Because, he's got a soft spot for the Orville and Ed, in particular as Admiral Halsey. Remember the Orville at the beginning of the series? It was like, it's supposed to be this rubbish ship, that had not done a lot, and they give it to Ed, who was a bit of a washed-up captain. But it's turned out to be the most important ship in the Union fleet. But anyway, so there we go. So Ed, so they say, oh, thanks, that's an honour, Admiral. And then they say, he didn't even realise we were drunk. But he did. It's their honour. They're taking the President of the Union and his staff. They're taking them to the Krill homeworld for the treaty signing. There he is. Or is that Bruce Boxlight? I don't bloody know. Too much makeup on him and not enough information on IMDb. Anyway, so we find out about this opponent for the Supreme Chancellor, and she's Talea, who Ed had I don't know if it was in the first season or the second season, I can't remember. But Ed had an affair with her because she went onto the Orville as disguised as a human, I think. I think she was a human. But she was in disguise, she didn't look like a krill. And, she used her wily ways and she seduced Ed, basically. And but then they found out about her. But Ed let her go because he thought he'd got through to her and, he thought she wasn't all evil. But it turns out, she is. There he's watching videos about what happens on Krill. And anyway, they're on this bit here. It has no relevance, but he's watching like newscasts from Krill. And Kelly comes in. He says, I'm watching this, and people are getting killed under the, and all this. People that are protesting, are getting killed and all that. But he said, but it's not true. It's all fictitious. And he says, they do that for no reason. I don't know the point of it. And I thought, is that going to mean that later in the episode we're going to see something that is apparently real but isn't? But no, we don't see that. So I don't know how they did that. It's probably a bit like Wag the Dog. If you've seen that film, Wag the Dog, where they can make a news story, can make or break a leader or start a war or end a war or whatever. The power of the press, the power of the news media. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And they just make things up sometimes. That's what this is about. But it has no bearing on the rest of the episode. Maybe it did in early drafts, but not in this one. So anyway, so there they go. They arrive at Krill, or whatever it's called. And 3 Krill cruisers escort them in. And it's all jolly exciting. So they're going to take a shuttle down. Remember, they've no transporters or teleporters or whatever they call them in the Orville. I'm still betting that they have them soon, but not yet. So they take a shuttle down. Charlie's driving, and for some reason, everybody's standing up and behind, the pilot and the co-pilot. The admiral's acting as the co-pilot, I do believe, but they're all standing behind, and then they're saying that the atmosphere's turbulent. So you'd think they'd go and sit down, wouldn't you? They think they'd put the seatbelts on and sit down, but no, they stand there. They're wobbling about all over the place. And they do it again later on as well. And you think, oh, for God's sake, sit down. It's safer. Anyway, so they arrive at the Krill capital. I think it's raining outside. That's probably why the cat wants to come in. She'll be cursing me. So they arrive and they're greeted by the Supreme Chancellor. And anyway, they're watching the Krill news, but it's not a lie. The election's going on, and he thinks he's going to win. This is the Krill. You can't see that, can you? Move that down a bit. There we go. He thinks he's going to win, but it turns out he don't win. And Teleia, she wins. And immediately, almost immediately, guards arrive to take away the former Supreme Chancellor and charging him with treason. And they arrest the delegation from Earth, because remember, Teleia doesn't want Earth, don't want the treaty. So Kelly's in charge of the Orville, and they end up having a battle in space with the Krill. There we go, look. They're sat down, look. And Gordon does some cool flying and makes up some evasive manoeuvres, and, it's all super good. But then, they go to Quantum. That looks good, doesn't it? That's a desktop for you. So they go to Quantum. There we go. They get out of the way. Obviously, they haven't abandoned their people. They come back. All right, she says, she goes to John Lamar. She said, execute Order 21 or Directive 21. Directive 21, isn't it? We don't know what that is, but we find out later. Anyway, this is Teleia, and she's got the former Supreme Chancellor, and she stabs him. So he's dead, and they chop his head off and put it in the square. Because she's evil. She dresses like Reaver, doesn't she, in Obi-Wan? Anyway, so she's a baddie. Anyway, so they take Ed and to see Teleia, and he tries to get through to her. And she kind of does have a little bit of a soft spot for him. But, not that much a one, but she does a bit. And she says she's going to kill the people from Earth, the delegation. She's going to kill them. But obviously she doesn't. She sends Ed away. We think to his doom. Obviously he's not. Anyway, the people that take him away, they actually take him, and all this is going on. I think that's I don't know if they're watching a news thing there, or if that's getting in touch with them, but no, I think they're watching like Krill News, and she's saying, she's in charge, and the people from Earth are going to die, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right, these people are taking Ed. They've put him a hood on him for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, they take him somewhere in the city. It's a long walk, isn't it? They take him to meet this woman here. Excuse me. To see this little girl, and it turns out she's Ed's daughter. Ed and Teleia had a daughter, and there she is. She's called Anaya. That means gently falling rain. And the keeper there, she's well looked after. She seems quite happy, even though she just sits in a room playing with this thing all day. But she seems okay. And so there we go. So obviously Ed doesn't tell her, I'm your dad, but, they have a nice little chat. So they want they want Ed to go back to Talea and convince her to acknowledge that she's got a hybrid daughter. Because they don't agree with Talea's politics. So Ed agrees to do that. Meanwhile, on the Orville, they're meeting up with the Union fleet. We're going to see that. I better miss it. Oh, for God's sake. See if I can... there we go. There we go. Union fleets arrived. They've got lots of ships, and they all go to Quantum. Look. There we go. They're heading for Krill. Right, Ed's talking to her again. He says he's met Anaya. Obviously, she didn't know that he'd been taken to see Anaya. And Ed asks, why did, if you hate humans so much, why did you have Anaya? Why didn't you have an abortion, basically? He don't say that, but why didn't you have an abortion? And, she like poo-poos the ideas. And, I don't murder. Although she just murdered the Chancellor, but she don't murder babies, even her own. So basically, the Krill are, pro-life. So anyway, so they don't get through to her, and I think they're going to be. She's showing here what happens to people who have abortions. Abortion is illegal, but there must be ways to do it, and they are shown holograms of what their child would have been like. And I thought they were going to kill him, but no, they don't do that. But they just show them a hologram of what their kid would be like, so they got to live with the grief of the life that they ended. Anyway, she gets all this delegation out in front of the people. She says they're going to kill him. So she gets a knife out again and she stabs the president of the union in the stomach. I don't know if she does it here or she's doing it in a minute. Whatever. But she does. She stabs him in the stomach. The Union fleet arrives and a big battle happens in orbit. I think that's him telling her that the Union fleets arrived, and she says, destroy them. So a big battle erupts in orbit, and she stabs the president of the planetary union. Anyway, 2 Krill come through the door, and they throw a flashbang, and but it doesn't affect the humans; it just affects the Krill. So it must have been specifically made to blind Krill. And they get the delegation out to a waiting shuttle. There we go. Which is soon getting chased, by Krill fighters or whatever. And it turns out the 2 Krill were Dr. Claire Finn and John Lamar. That was Directive 21, apparently. Disguise yourself as the enemy and go and rescue whoever you're supposed to rescue. Anyway, so a chase ensues. It's a bit like we saw in Attack of the Clones, that chase through Coruscant. A little bit like that, but different. So they get away. They get to a shuttle, and a Union shuttle, and they arrive at the battle's still going on when they arrive at the Orville, and they basically do a emergency landing plan B. Do that. Crash land in the landing bay, and the fleet breaks off from the battle and heads into quantum drive. Here we go. We're going to see it now. There we go. They all head off, and all the others turn round, and not once do they talk about the ships or how many people that they lost. They did this last week in the episode. Last week's episode, so many of the crew got turned into aliens. We didn't find out how many, but they didn't even seem to mourn them. In this one, nothing's mentioned about how many ships, Union ships and Union lives were lost in this rescue. It doesn't matter. So basically, that's it. the Admiral, asks Ed, if he can do anything, with Teleia, with them having history and having a child. But, he's unsure. He doesn't know. He says he'll think about what he can do. But, there's not a lot he can do, really, is there? But that's that. And him and Kelly go off for breakfast. And then we end on Krill in a minute. With Teleia, and I think she's looking at her daughter. There we go. She's watching her daughter playing. And we're thinking, is she going to soften? Don't know. We shall see. But that's it. That's the end. That's how it ends. There we go. So it was a good episode. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a lot better than Obi-Wan anyway. And it was a lot better than last week's episode, in my opinion. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And to give it a score out of 10, I'd give that one an 8 out of 10. That was really good. It was a good episode. Not perfect, but I did enjoy it. And I still think it's not quite as good as Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Heresy, I know, but I'm enjoying it. Strange New Worlds. But I enjoyed this episode of The Orville. It was better than last week's. It had some, a good Star Trek type episode, but it also had some good action and a good space battle, and and it was interesting. A bit on the nose with the politics, abortion and Trump and all, Trump rallies and all that and stuff. I'm not a Trump fan myself, but I'm not a fan of any politician, to be honest. But what can you do? But hang on, I'm just typing through. I can't talk and type at the same time. I'm getting ready for the next review, sorry. I'm hopeless, I am hopeless. Right, we're there. Right, sorry. I can't multitask. So, a good episode of The Orville. Better than last week's. Hopefully it's going to start getting better now. I don't know how many episodes there's in this season. Is there just 10 again? Not 10 again. I mean 10. I don't know. But hopefully they'll start getting a little bit better. But yeah, this were a good one. Thumbs up from me. I enjoyed that. So, the final review of the night. We'll get rid of The Orville. So I can't complain about... Oh, press wrong thing, haven't I? I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, never mind. I've lost my train of thought. I was trying to get rid of that. There we go. As you can see, I put that up. There it is. And we want that up, don't we? Why is that? Why is it going wrong? I've done something wrong here, haven't I? I must have done. Let's get rid of that. There we go. There we go. Press it wrong things again. Hey. Oh, that's something I haven't put on either, is it? We need that up, don't we? And we need that up. Hey. We're only, 2/3 of the way through the bloody episode of this. And I'm just remembering to put my things on. Never mind. Anyway, so what we're talking... I was talking about The Orville, wasn't I? But I can't remember what I was going to say. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Right. Anyway, next up, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 8, Season 1, Episode 8. Only 2 more after this. This one's called The Elysian Kingdom. Now, I thought, when I saw, a trailer for it, I thought, I'm not going to enjoy this episode. But I really did. I really enjoyed it. And it could actually be my favourite episode of the season so far. Because I don't usually enjoy these sorts of episodes, but we'll get into that. We shall get into that. Hey, where have I put it? There we go. So, obviously, we start off with the Star Trek MCU logo. Right, they do a recap. We see Hemmer and, and all that. Right, so Anyway, so there we go. And we see Dr. Mabenga and his daughter. Oh, what do they call her? What do they call her? I can never remember. I can never remember. Does it say here? It doesn't say. I can't remember her name. Do you know what? I'm going to have to do the IMDb, aren't I? What was it? Elysian. I forgot. Kingdom. Think about that, wasn't it? IMDb. See if that finds it. Yeah, it does. There we go. There we go. Right. What? Rukia, that's it. Rukia, that's her name. Played by Sage Arindel. Right. Oh, where were we? Oh, crikey. Right. Anyway, so he's reading to his daughter again, and he's reading from a book. Oh, there we go. That's there we see the Enterprise, and it's he's given his personal log, and it's stardate 2, 3, whatever. The stardates are all over the place in this. I don't understand how they're working them out. They're going backwards and forwards, and I don't know. I know they did that in the original series. Maybe they're just carrying on the tradition. And in Next Generation, they kind of, solidified stardates, didn't they? But I think in the original series, they didn't really have any meaning as such, did they? And they just made them up. Anyway, so he's reading to his daughter, is Dr. Mabenga. There we go. There he is. She doesn't want to go back in the buffer. She wants him to read to her. So he reads this book that's like a fantasy book. Far off land was the beautiful kingdom of Elysian. Within its borders ruled 3 monarchs. To the south ruled wicked Queen Neve, whose frozen heart governed with an iron fist. In the lush eastern kingdom ruled Princess Thalia, whose kind heart was forever with her people. And the other kingdom was somebody else. That's Queen Neve. So obviously this story is going to have some importance to the episode. So he's reading to his daughter anyway. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is actually on a mapping mission of a nebula. I can't think of it a name. The something or other nebula, and it's pretty routine. So that's why he's spending some time with his daughter because he's not busy. So anyway, she likes this story, and she says, she wished a couple of the characters who never meet in the story would team up and beat the evil queen. That's probably her saying that there. And he says, but that doesn't happen. But she says she wants it to happen. But he says, well, whatever. So anyway, so he's got to put her back in because apparently she's not got much time left now. Every time he takes her out of the transporter buffer, he's basically shortening her life expectancy because she's got this disease. Don't ask me what it is, but she's got this disease and it's slowly killing her. But it's progressing each time he brings her out, and he's not found a cure. Anyway, he puts her back in and he carries on with his research, and he does some mixing of chemicals and stuff, and it goes wrong. It blows up in his face, and a force field goes round it. So he's a bit fed up. Number 1 comes in, and she asks him. Remember, she knows about his daughter. I don't know how many of the other crew know. I presume the captain knows, but Number 1 knows that he keeps his daughter in the transporter buffer, and he's trying to find a cure for her disease. Obviously, the people from a few episodes ago didn't help, did they? They said that they were going to help because they had super ace medical technology, but obviously they're no closer. And she's going to die anyway, soon, apparently, if he doesn't find a cure. So he's not very happy at the moment. Anyway, so she says, I'm sure you'll work something out or whatever. She orders him to get some rest, because she went there to ask him, why is such and such a crew not being cleared for duty, and he'd forgot. And she orders him to get some rest. So, pardon me. So that's what he does. He heading back to his quarters. Meanwhile, on the bridge, the finished finished mapping the nebula, so they can do something else now. So Pike orders Ortegas to get him out of there. She says, "You're going to say it," and he says, "Hit it," and she hits it, but nothing happens. The Enterprise doesn't go to warp, and I think the impulse, he calls them impulse thrusters, they don't work either. So the Enterprise is stuck at this nebula. I think it's actually in the nebula, I think, but anyway, so something happens. The ship gets rocked about for some reason. I can't remember why. And Ortegas gets injured because she stands up for some reason. Why are these people standing up all the time when the ships are rocking about? But she stands up and she falls over as the ship is rocked, and she gets a head injury. So he calls Dr. M'Benga to the bridge. So he heads to the bridge, obviously super tired. He heads to the bridge. And then when he arrives at the bridge, by the way, on his way there, a weird thing happened. Something went blah. And when he gets to the bridge, they're all dressed in weird clothes. The bridge looks the same, but there's like drapes and stuff, and people are dressed in weird clothes. And they don't seem to realise that they're on the bridge of the Enterprise, and the captain's become this goofy bloke who's a coward. But very funny. And he's the king, is M'Benga. I can't remember the name of the king, but he's the king of this land. And he don't know what's going on. He says, what the hell? And then we cut to credits. And I do like watching the credits because I like the theme as well. Anyway, Ortegas is she's the king's bodyguard. She's sworn her life to the king. He's like a diplomat, but he's a coward. But it's very amusing. Anyway, supposedly this Queen Neve wants the Mercury Stone. It's supposed to be a weapon, and she wants it to rule over the kingdom of Elysian. And he says it's in his quarters or whatever. So he says he's to go to his quarters to get a magical device. He wants a tricorder, basically. I thought this were all going to be in his head, but apparently it's not. It's not in his head. It's actually happening. They're all in. Only he, by the way, so far, only he is still Dr. M'Benga. Only he realises, things have changed. Everybody else is in character. Here's Christine Chappell, looking super sexy, I must admit. She's like a healer, They'd call her a witch in the olden days, but looks very, very nice. But he gets this anyway, and he scans and he sees that all the dopamine levels are all elevated, which means that a lot of brain activity is going on. Meanwhile, La'an arrives as the princess. Is it Princess Thalia? And she comes in with a puppy, and she's hilarious. I found it really funny. And oh god, she's not drunk, but she's really funny. She puts on, she's like a posh rich person with a toy puppy, and she's just really funny, out of character for La'an. And she even sings later on, but it's funny singing. She's asking, is her dopamine levels high? And apparently, yes, they are for all of them. Anyway, so they've got to go. I can't remember where they've got to go. They've got to go somewhere. Oh, and they encounter oh, what's his name now? Hemmer. He's being taken away by the Crimson Guard, who are Queen Neves or Nevs, whatever. Soldiers, and they're dragging him away. He's supposed to be like a wizard called Castor. But apparently he realises he is still Hemmer, so there's just him and Dr. M'Benga who are still aware of their true natures. Everybody else thinks they're in this story. Oh, right, by the way, it's the story he was reading to his daughter that's being acted out in real life, and he comes to the conclusion that the nebula is an entity, and it's scanned his brain. And it's taken the story that was reading to his daughter, taken that from his memories, and it's recreated it. But he comes to that conclusion a bit later. So they decide that they go and rescue Castor, but they come across Pollux, who's another wizard, who is obviously Spock. But he's evil, and he smiles. But he's working for Queen Nev. But they don't know that yet, and he says he'll take them to wherever they're supposed to be going. It's through some deadly marsh. I don't think you get a marsh on the Enterprise, but never mind. But he says he'll take them there, but it's all a trap, and he takes them to Queen Nev. As we will see, there we go. And it's Uhura's Queen Nev, looking very chesty in... in queenly robes, but I'm not complaining. Anyway, she's the baddie. You might have noticed we haven't seen number 1 yet, but don't worry, she's coming. Anyway, so they're going to throw the others in the dungeon. There they are, but it's a transporter pad. But obviously it's now a dungeon. I thought they'd end up in the brig, but no. But luckily, they're in the transporter thing, which means Hemmer can do something in a bit. So they're having a chat that they realise that they're the only ones that know what's going on, so to speak, as in they retain their own memories. Hemmer has got it's some engineering. It's like a laser cutter or something. He cuts open the door so they can escape. He says it's a magical thing for the others, but it's a laser cutter. But this is a good Hemmer episode, by the way. I enjoyed it. Right, the Crimson Guard appear along with Spock, and Ortegas has an enjoyable little fight with them. They'll just stand watching. Obviously, nobody gets killed. It's a sword fight, but nobody gets run through, thank goodness. Nobody gets seriously hurt, thankfully. In this fantasy. Well, I don't think they do, because some of them get shot with arrows by number 1, who is, I can't remember the name of the character, but she's a huntress, and it seems that she's in some sort of relationship with Ortegas, or the characters are. Because remember, the daughter wanted these two characters to team up, but they never did in the book, and that gives M'Benga a clue as to what's going on, because yes, it's not him, it's not his mind that, the minute Princessy, it's not his mind that the nebula read, it was his daughter's. And so they head back to the sick bay, and he finds that his daughter is no longer in the transporter buffer, so they have to go looking for her. So he thinks she'll be in his quarters. So they head for his quarters, but they get stopped by Queen Nev and her baddies. But Hemmer saves the day, and he uses this magical device he's got called, there we go, and he hams it up. Oh, for crying out loud, I'm hopeless. He hams it up. When you're ready, there we go. And he to make him disappear. As he says some magic words, and he opens it up and presses a button, but he'd rigged it so that it. I've missed it, haven't I? He'd rigged it so it transported them away. There we go. Presses the button and transports them away. He said he sent them to a cargo bay or something. That's what he did. So anyway, he seems very pleased with himself there, and it was funny. Anyway, so they're going to his quarters, and his daughter's there. Rukia is there, and apparently the entity, the nebular entity, has been in contact with her, and they've been playing, and it does a scan, does Dr. Mabenga, and it seems she's being cured of her illness, but it turns out Hemmer allows the entity to speak through him. Remember, he's Ena, and they are super telepathic, so he allows the entity to speak through him. It's a bit painful for him. He says, "Be gentle," but that happens so we can, the entity can talk. And it turns out that only in the entity's presence is Rukia cured of the disease that she's got. If she takes her away again, she'll get ill again and die. So it's to make this decision now. Is he prepared to lose his daughter? He can't stay there. I don't know why, but but he's got to think of the crew, I suppose. So he's got to make the decision. Does he take his daughter away and watch her die, or does he let her stay with the entity, and so she'll live? And it turns out if she stays with the entity, she'll live forever. So he says, it's her decision. He gives her the choice, and she decides she wants to stay with the entity because they are friends. So that's what happens. Hang on. So this is where by the way, I'm crying, by the way, watching this bit, because it's really well acted, and he's deciding, there we go, that he's got to let his daughter go after all this time. And obviously in the original series we didn't see Mabenga's daughter, did we? And this is why. So anyway, it's really sad, really well acted. And she says she loves him and all that. And anyway, the entity takes her away, envelops her in light. We'll see it in a minute. I'll get there. I'm useless. There we go. It envelops her in light, and she disappears. There she's gone. She's gone into the nebula, and so he's super sad. But then moments later, thinks he's lost his daughter forever. She's gone. I thought he was going to drop to his knees, but he didn't. Anyway, for God's sake. Anyway, moments later, there's another flash of light, and it's Rukia again, but she's grown up, and she says she's super happy. She's been on adventures with Deborah. She's given the nebular entity the name Deborah, which was her mother's name. But for her, it's been years. It's only been seconds for Dr. Mabenga, but for her, it's been years. And she's been on adventures and stuff, and she's having a great time, and she's happy. So he can be happy, knowing that she's safe in the nebula, having a great time and having adventures. So, that wraps up that storyline. Unless he's crying again, and I were crying because I'm a big soft git. And there we go. And everybody gets put back to normal. There we go. But nobody remembers. Nobody remembers what happened apart from Dr. Mabenga. Even Hemmer doesn't remember. He says, "What am I doing in your quarters?" And last thing he remembered, he was in engineering or something. So nobody has any memory of what happened. They know something happened, but they just know that they've lost 5 hours. So it was 5 hours that this thing were going on for. So I suppose he'll make a log, and I suppose he'll tell him that his daughter's gone and she's living a life in the nebula now as a non-corporeal entity, and that's about it really. We'll leave it at that. There we go. End of the episode. Dr. M'Benga's storyline comes to an end, as far as his daughter's concerned. So they've wrapped that up, haven't they? Pretty succinctly. But it was nice. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I don't normally like those sorts of episodes, like where they're getting dressed up in period clothing. I'm not a big fan of Cupid and the Next Generation episode and stuff. I'm not a big fan of them, but this were done well. And comedy episodes, are not really my thing because I'm miserable. Hang on, I'm trying to do things here. Get rid of Starfield because we're on Star Trek now, so we need to go to warp. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping. There we go. Yeah, but I really liked this episode. I really liked it. I've liked every single episode so far of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and this episode in particular might be my favourite, probably because I was crying at the end. But what can I say? I've only cried at 2 episodes of Star Trek, this one and the next Deep Space Nine episode, The Visitor. And so that just shows you. I really enjoyed it. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for this one. It was really good. But I suppose there'll be others in the YouTube world. I'll not be as generous as me because I seem to be the only person in the universe that likes Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I'm really enjoying it. And we've only 2 episodes left. What they're called. Oh, I'm not on that anymore, am I? It says it on Wikipedia. Hang on, where are we? We've 2 episodes left. Episode 9 is called All Those Who Wonder, and I had no idea what that's about. And episode 10 is called TBA. I know that means to be announced or whatever. I don't know what the last episode's called. But yeah, that episode, The Elysian Kingdom, was my favourite so far. And I didn't think it were going to be. Maybe it's because I had low expectations that I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was really, really good. And I've not been a fan of M'Benga, to be honest, but his performance in this episode was excellent. In fact, they all did well in this episode. I've started to like Ortega. I didn't like her at the beginning because she had a bit of a smirk, but she's grown on me. Christine Chappell's grown on me because I think she's super sexy. I like La'an. I've liked La'an since the beginning, but in this episode she was really funny. I laughed out loud at her performance in this, and I laughed a little bit at Captain Pike playing the coward. He obviously does enjoy doing a bit of comedy. He did the pirate impression in the last episode. In this one, he's played a fool. So, but that was, it was okay. So yeah, so there we go. So that's that. Another good episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. 2 to go. Maybe they'll throw it all down the sink in the last 2 episodes, but I don't think they will. I think it'll carry on being good. And I bet the last episode has a proper cliffhanger, and I bet it introduces, I bet Cybox in it, and I bet, Kirk can't be in it, can he? Because he doesn't know Cybox, does he? I bet Cybox in the next episode. I've got a feeling, I'm sure I've seen somewhere that Cybox is coming back before the end of this season. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere, but I can't remember where. Or I could have dreamt it. That won't be the first time. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. So, with 3 episodes, didn't we, of science fiction television, with 1 bad one with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and 2 good ones with the Orville and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and the best of all 3 by a Country Mile was Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Loved that episode. And that's all I can say about it. So, we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So, until next time, I haven't done a news thing for a while, have I? I'll have to do one. I'll have to look up some news. But as I said before, you know, I haven't. I've been neglecting my news duties, and I need to get back to it. So anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop a comment in the comments or whatever, and share the videos, and tell everybody about this stupid long-haired Yorkshireman who comes on and babbles nonsense about science fiction TV shows. And maybe we'll get some more subscribers. But anyway, so we'll leave it there. So until next time, wherever you are in the universe, look after each other. And when I come back... I lost my train of thought again. I'm doing that a lot these days. I'm getting old, you see. But anyway, until next time, I'll say thee. Hey, have an outro. Here it comes. Oh, I'm still there. I forgot to get rid of myself on the screen. Oh, I'm useless, aren't I? I'm useless. Where is it? It's there, look. Right. So I'll say bye again in my little box in the corner of my blank screen. I'm trying to be all professional, fading out and stuff. Hey, and I forgot my bloody webcam. Never mind. Right then. So I'll see you later. Bye.